Welcome to Storytime, where dreams take flight and restful nights begin. Tonight's story, Pride and Moonlight, is a tranquil journey filled with soft light and soothing reflections. Let the gentle rhythm of this tale guide you to the shores of sleep. Relax, breathe deeply, and let's begin. In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills, there stood an ancient manor that had weathered countless seasons. Its stone walls were kissed by the moonlight every evening, making the old house look like a place pulled from a dream. Inside, every room held stories of the past, but none so enchanting as the legend of its garden, a garden said to bloom only under the full moon, revealing its secrets to those who sought solace beneath its glow. Evelyn, the current steward of the manor, was a solitary soul. She had inherited the estate from her grandmother, who had whispered stories of moonlit nights spent in the magical garden. Though Evelyn had lived in the house for years, she had never ventured into the garden during a full moon. There was always some excuse: too tired, too busy, or perhaps too afraid of what she might find. One evening, as the full moon began its slow ascent into the sky, Evelyn found herself restless. The air felt charged with something she couldn't quite name. The silver light streaming through her bedroom window seemed to call her, urging her to step into the garden. Wrapping herself in a shawl, Evelyn padded down the creaking staircase and out the back door. The garden greeted her with a hush, as if it had been waiting for this moment. The moonlight painted every leaf and petal with a silvery sheen, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. She wandered the winding paths, her footsteps muffled by the soft grass. The air was fragrant with the scent of night-blooming flowers, their petals unfurling to the moon's touch. There was a stillness here, a peace that seemed to seep into her very bones. At the heart of the garden stood a grand fountain, its basin filled with water that shimmered like liquid moonlight. Evelyn knelt beside it, mesmerized by the way the light danced across the surface. She reached out, letting her fingers skim the cool water, and a soft ripple spread outward. As the ripple faded, an image began to form in the water. Evelyn saw a young woman, radiant and strong, standing in the very garden where she now knelt. The woman in the vision held her head high, her eyes filled with pride and determination. Evelyn realized with a start that the woman was her grandmother, but younger, untouched by the years that had shaped her into the wise elder Evelyn had known. The vision shifted, showing her grandmother planting seeds in the garden by moonlight. Evelyn watched as the seeds sprouted and grew, blossoming into the very flowers that now surrounded her. The garden had been her grandmother's sanctuary, a place where she found strength and clarity. A soft voice broke the silence. "The garden remembers, just as the moon remembers," it said. Evelyn turned, but she was alone. Yet, the voice continued, low and soothing, as if carried on the wind. "The pride of your lineage is rooted in this soil. Under the moonlight, all is revealed." Evelyn felt a warmth in her chest, a connection to the generations that had come before her. She closed her eyes, letting the garden's tranquility wash over her. The rustling of the leaves, the gentle hum of the fountain, and the soft glow of the moon wove together into a lullaby. When she opened her eyes, the garden seemed to shimmer more brightly, as if welcoming her fully into its embrace. Evelyn stood and began to walk, her steps lighter than before. She felt a new sense of belonging, a quiet pride that wasn't about accomplishments or accolades, but about being a part of something larger, a lineage, a legacy, a love for the moonlit nights. As she returned to the manor, she paused at the door to look back at the garden. The moon hung high above, its light casting a protective glow over the space. Evelyn whispered a quiet promise to herself: she would honor the garden, just as her grandmother had, and find strength in its beauty. That night, she slept more peacefully than she had in years. In her dreams, she walked the garden paths under a sky filled with stars, the moon guiding her every step. From that evening on, Evelyn made it a ritual to visit the garden on every full moon. She would sit by the fountain, her thoughts quiet, her heart open. And each time, the garden seemed to share a new secret, a new story of those who had come before her. Over time, the garden became a symbol of peace for Evelyn, a place where she could leave behind the worries of the day and simply be. The moonlight became her companion, a steady presence that reminded her of the pride she carried, not in achievements, but in the simple act of being connected to something timeless and beautiful. Thank you for spending this tranquil time with me on Storytime. Pride and Moonlight reminds us of the quiet strength found in connection and reflection. Let its gentle glow guide you into a restful sleep. Until next time, sweet dreams and good night.
Thanks for your time. Please subscribe. Don't forget to press the bell icon for more.